Dear brothers and sisters, good morning. It's wonderful to be here, and I'd like to, with this presentation, to pay tribute to our colleagues who couldn't be with us. Such a tragic loss. I was on the same flight with Victor Tsang from Rome to Addis, and I was on the next flight after 8302. And so I'd like to, in a very special way, to this presentation to present it in his honor and all those who left us. The topic of my presentation this morning is Youth as Protagonists of Environmental Sustainability, a Faith Perspective. And I wanted to start with this photo of the climate strike. This is a growing movement of young people all across the world who have said that we will only do your homework when you've done yours. So that's basically what they're saying to the adults, you know, that we won't go to class. There's no point, you know, preparing through education for our future if in 11 years or 12 years we're not going to have a future anyway. And I was very inspired at the conference in Rome last week on religions and the Sustainable Development Goals. There were two young ladies, 15-year-olds from the United States, and this is what they say, that we young people have a voice, and now we are learning how to use it. And so you'll be hearing a lot from young people in the next weeks and months through this climate strike. But I want to come back to the foundations. I belong to what is called the John Paul II generation. And Pope John Paul II was a great promoter of young people in the Catholic Church. He was the founder of the World Youth Days, one of the greatest gathering of young people anywhere in the world. And in 1985, in his message for the International Year of Youth, he said that youth is not just your own property. It's your personal property, or it's not your personal property or the property of a generation. It belongs to the whole of that space that every man traverses in his life's journey. And at the same time, it is a special belonging or possession belonging to everyone. It is a possession of humanity itself. So this is what he was saying to the young people, that in fact, youth is a gift for all of us. In this photo also you see John Paul II used to like to go to the outdoors in the Polish mountains, going hiking during winter and doing camping in the summer in the Polish forest and so on. And he made a comparison and said that youth should be growth, a moment of growth. That for this purpose, contact with the visible world, with nature, is of immense importance. And that in one's youth, this relationship to the visible world is enriching in a way that differs from knowledge of the world obtained from books. So basically encouraging the need for people to have contact with nature, and especially young people. We know that a lot of our young people these days, they spend a lot of their time sitting in front of computers playing computer games. But John Paul II in 1985, you know, encouraged young people to go out and as a way of having growth as young people. One of the other things he said was that his hope for young people is that their growth in stature and in wisdom will come about through contact with nature. So that contact with nature is also an opportunity to grow in stature and wisdom. Moving on to Pope Benedict XVI, at World Youth Day in Madrid in the year 2011, he said that as young people, you are entitled to receive from previous generations solid points of reference to help you to make choices on which to build your lives, like a young plant which needs solid support until it can sink deep roots and become a sturdy tree capable of bearing fruit. So it's bringing the element of intergenerational justice, that in fact, as young people, while we make the effort and we, you know, champion our participation in creating a world that is better for all of us, climate action and so on, that in fact, we rely on the wisdom of our elders to make that possible. So the dynamism to fly and the wings to fly, but also being rooted in the wisdom of our elders. In Laudato Si, Pope Francis says that young people demand change, and they wonder how anyone can claim to be building a better world or a better future without thinking of the environmental crisis and the sufferings of the excluded. So it makes a very strong connection between listening to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor, and saying that young people are a strong component of ensuring that there's a demand for ensuring that we have a connection between the earth, caring for the earth, but also caring for those who are most excluded in our communities. And that's a nice photo of Pope Francis, you know, having a selfie with young people. When he spoke in Nairobi at Kasarani, he invited young people to hold hands and to say no to all forms of discrimination, be it on ethnic grounds, religious grounds, or any form of discrimination. But then this January in Panama at World Youth Day, he said that young people are not the future, as we are often told. But no, he said, you are the present. You are not the future of God. You young people are the now of God. To listen to the voices of young people was that a better world can be built as a result of your efforts, your desire to change, and your generosity. So this is the message to young people, that the church wishes to listen to your voice, your sensitivities and your faith, even your doubts and your criticism. So basically, don't be afraid to take criticism from young people. Make your voice heard, let it resonate in communities, and let it be heard by your shepherds of souls. And ending with a message from St. Benedict, who urged the abbots to consult even the young before any important decision, because the Lord often reveals to the younger what is best. And moving on to the final 3 key messages, because I was invited to also present 3 key messages. And I'd like again to quote Vivian Haar, who spoke at the Religion and SDGs conference in Rome last week. And she said that young people have a voice, and now they're learning how to use it. But more than that, also, they're going and acting. They're not just speaking. Young people are not a time bomb. Often we hear that the youth bulge is a ticking time bomb. Now, a bomb, as I understand, is something that is destructive. But my understanding of young people is that they're not destructive. In fact, as John Paul II reminded us, they are a possession of humanity itself, a key asset to care for our common home. And we need to tap into this asset, rather than seeing it as a time bomb. And finally, young people are not the future, but the now of God. And faith communities need to engage and meaningfully engage young people in the mission of caring for our common home. And so I'll leave you with that photo of Live Laudato Si, young people who had gathered in Poland for the World Youth Day to present an ecology program that involved millions of young Catholics who attended this event. So thank you very much, and I look forward to engaging with all of you after this session.